Hey guys, it's Damien from Marketing Food Online, and this podcast is going to be all about pricing your product. I want to get into discussing some of the tips and tricks on pricing a product when you're just starting out. It can be a bit of a challenge to create a profit, but you need to figure out a way to do that in order for you to sustain your business and grow it. So let's get right into it. Okay, guys, so let's hop right into this topic. And actually, I want to thank my subscriber who sent me the question about this. I had a couple of videos where I did cover briefly some information about pricing, but I just wanted to go over this again because this is a topic in regards to creating a food business or food product. It's super crucial, and it's very, very important to understand the different types of ways to price a product. Because there's actually a lot of variables and factors that come into play when it comes to creating a price that's going to be profitable for you and also make your product enticing for either a food distributing company or even for a customer to buy it from you. So now, right off the bat, let me lay down this one simple principle, and it's going to be an absolute fact because it's from my own experience, as well as any food startup that starts out. It's always going to be the most expensive time for your business is when you first start. And the reason why I say that is I'll explain that what that means. So when you first start a food business, traditionally, normally most food businesses actually start at home, right? They start at home, you got a recipe and you've got some really great feedback and you want to create a food product, but you haven't really bought the ingredients, you haven't bought packaging, all of these aspects you really haven't thought too much about. And you're going to be probably producing this product in very small batches. Very good likelihood you're going to be making it yourself, and it's going to take up your time as well. But when it comes to buying the ingredients to produce it and the bags and the labels and everything else, you're going to be doing it on a small scale. And when you do anything on a small scale, it's always more expensive. Obviously, that's just kind of a no-brainer. But it's also not just a no-brainer, but it's also a concept that a lot of food startups don't necessarily take into consideration. So don't think that forever moving forward after you get your food business up and running, that everything's going to be this expensive. The flour and the sugar is going to be this expensive. My goodness, it's going to be so expensive for the bags. The bags are costing me nearly 50 cents to $1 each, or maybe it's a container, maybe your label. The reason being is that you're buying them in smaller quantities. As your business takes off and you have cash flow and you begin to have a profit, then you can begin to buy products, buy ingredients, buy labels, and get the things you need at a much bigger quantity at a lower price. Okay, that's just a normalcy of doing business. So right off the bat, it's always going to be the most expensive. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. How do you determine the price? Well, there's a lot of questions you need to ask yourself. Number one, you need to find out, how are you going to sell it? Are you looking to produce a product that you're going to take and give to a food distributor, and that food distributor is going to need to make a margin, and they're going to sell it to a retail grocery store or a high-end grocery store or even a restaurant, whoever the end user is? There's going to be a food distributor between you and the end user. Is that the route that you want to take? Do you want to make your product and just sell it directly to your customer? Maybe go online and you want to have an eBay store, Etsy store, or even just some type of a store, or even your own website, and you're going to have customers buy it from you. Okay. Or maybe you're going to produce it and just sell it directly to the retailer. Okay. See, so there's a multitude of different places and different ways that you're going to sell it. You need to figure out what you want to do. Now, can you do a little bit of all of them? Of course you can. Nobody says you can't. But in order for you to make a margin, my motto has always been, and my philosophy has always been, the fewer people that stand between you and your customer, the more money you make. It's a common sense thing. It's very simple. So not saying you can't go through a food distributor. Food distributors are fantastic. They can do a lot of logistics for you. They have a lot of connections and the contacts. They have the ability to grow a brand because they already have everything in place that you don't have in place. Okay. Also, are you going to be making it at home? If so, well, you're not having to pay a few $1,000s a month to rent a commercial facility, or a few $100 a month to rent for a couple hours, have a commercial kitchen where you can produce a product. So that's not going into your costs. See, so there's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of different things that come into pricing. And it's not necessarily just a simple black and white issue where you can just price it one way and then sell it and make a margin and move on. You have to figure out, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do this? So if you're making it from home, I'll give you some examples. you're making it from home and you're doing small batches and you're just selling to farmers markets. You're selling locally, right? Basically the cottage food route. That's perfect. That's a great way to start. Nobody's standing between you and your end user because cottage food laws dictate that you have to sell the product directly to the customer. So you really can't facilitate the use of a food distributor or something on a commercial scale because you can't do that from home. 99.9% of the time in most states, you can't do that from home. Okay, so that's the best way to get going. And reason being is you need to factor in the cost of your product, the amount of time it takes you to do it, and what is your margin going to be? What is it that you want to sell it for? Now, something to keep in mind, you need to check in the marketplace products that are similar to what you're already making. Take a look at the retail price. Now, keep in mind, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, you got to keep in mind the fact that when you look at a lot of these products that are already in grocery stores and mass produced, they're done by companies, corporations, and big businesses who can get ingredients for pennies on the dollar. Well, you're getting your ingredients for dollars on the dollar, basically, for lack of a better expression. So your pricing can't necessarily be exactly as theirs. It's going to have a tendency to be a little higher because your costs are going to be a little higher. Don't let that discourage you, though, that your price point for your product is not going to stay that way forever, okay? And in some cases, I'll tell you the truth, when we started our candy business and we got into retail stores, the price we were making, the margins were horrible. I'll be honest with you, they were horrible. They were good enough to at least cover getting more ingredients and turning around, but our profit margins were really low, very low when we started. But I knew at that time, sometimes you have to eat dirt. You got to eat a little bit of that because before your product takes off or anyone knows about it, you just need to sell them. You need to get them out there and get people to taste them. You need to start doing it. And because when you think about it, let's say you go to a farmer's market and you set up a tent and you have 100 units to sell. Well, you pretty much need to bring about 100 units worth of samples, by the way, and that is product that you're making. You're not getting anything for except for a response from your customer. Nobody's paying for it. It's a sample. So you need to sample out your product. You need to sample like crazy, okay? That's just how the business is when you first start it. It's almost like with any business. You have to almost literally give your stuff away till it gets traction, and then you have the potential for profit. There's a lot of there's a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of young guys on YouTube that talk about launching products, and they do this market research, and they overanalyze and over-research. And at the end of the day, when they launch a product, they're expecting to get this huge margin or this profit for their items, and they end up going into the marketplace, and the products are almost breaking even. In some cases, even less than that, they end up losing money, and that's their product launch. So in almost every situation, it's very challenging and very difficult for anybody to launch a new product and right off the bat turn this enormous profit. I personally have never come across anybody I've met who's done that, especially in the food business. So just keep that in mind. You need to answer those questions and find out who are you going to sell it to. And that has a big factor on your margins. So again, let's go over the fact that the idea that you want to go to a food distributor. Sounds like a great idea, and it is. In some instances, it is. But the food distributor is going to buy your product, and let's say they're going to buy 20 cases of it, and they're going to put it in their warehouse, and they need to mark it up so they have a margin because they're in the business to make money too. So what you're selling to them is going to be even less than what it would be if you sold it to a retailer, because now you have a third party, you have a third spoke in the wheel, and someone has to come up with a margin for them. So your per unit price is going to be even less, considerably less. So you don't really make money on units. You make money on cases. You make money on pallets. If you can make a pallet worth of product and send it to a food distributor, then you may make some profit, okay? It boils down to trying to make money on case packs and hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of units, not individual units. So do I have a one-size-fits-all ability to create a price point for you? No. And I'll tell you, nobody will except for you. Because all of the other, for lack of for a pun, all of the ingredients that come into play, okay? Not only just the ingredients in the packaging, but the ingredients I say, are you making it from home? Do you have to rent a commercial kitchen? If you're renting a commercial kitchen and you're doing that for a couple of hours and you're producing your product, you got to factor in how much you just spent for that commercial kitchen. So those 20 cases of cookies you made, let's just use that as an example, you just rented a commercial kitchen for $400 for like 4 hours. So now your cookies have become very expensive. who's going to cover that margin? Who's going to make that? There's no way that you're going to sell that to another distributor, and he's going to stock it in his inventory, and it's going to be to the point where he can even make margin before he sells it to the retailer, because the retailer still has to make a profit. So see, there's a lot of people in between it, plus there's a lot of variables. So is there a one-size-fits-all for determining a price for it? No. And I'll tell you, you can go on and you can Google all you want about figuring out the prices, and there are going to be wonderful blogs and article posts that talk about, 40% reduced price point for the retail when you sell to distributors. And if you have a wholesaler comes in, it's about a 25 to 30%. Right. Well, that sounds great. Those statistics and those percentages sound great, but you still got to factor in all of what it takes to make your product and who's making it. What is that total cost? And then you could step into the realm of, maybe you should multiply it. You've heard the multiple of 2.5 times or 2 times or what have you. So all of that stuff is there's so many variables, it's very hard to determine what it is. But understanding what I just said and giving that a basic foundation for you to know what goes into creating your price is going to help you out. Okay. So if you have any questions, anything else about this, let me know down below in the description. And of course, if you guys want to get in touch with me, we do have consulting available. I can always help you guys one-on-one. We have our consulting email subscription programs. We even have our 1-hour phone sessions one-on-one. And I'll look forward to speaking with you guys on the next video, and do take care. Thank you guys.